Here I am with updated video regarding characters that might return in GTA 6 since it is going to be released this year for good. Starting with Trevor. First off, there's some real-world drama that most fans don't know about. Stephen Ogg, the actor who brought Trevor to life, hasn't exactly been on the best terms with Rockstar Games since GTA 5. There have been rumors about contract disputes, and Ogg feeling like he wasn't properly compensated for the massive success of the game. He's made some comments in interviews that hint at frustration with how voice actors are treated in the industry. While he's always shown love for the character, there seems to be some tension behind the scenes. Then, there's the narrative problem. Trevor was perfect for GTA 5's story, but his character arc felt pretty complete by the end of the game. He's such an unpredictable wildcard that bringing him back would be tricky. The dude is literally a walking time bomb. What more could they really do with him that wouldn't just feel like a rehash? Remember what happened with Johnny from The Lost and Damned when he appeared in GTA 5? Yeah, that didn't end well for him. Trevor literally stomped his head in within minutes of meeting him. If Trevor were to return in GTA 6, they'd either need to tone him down, which would ruin what makes him special, or have him go out in some spectacular way, which might feel too similar to what they did with Johnny. GTA 6 is reportedly set in Vice City, and the vibe they seem to be going for doesn't really match Trevor's desert meth lab energy. The trailers suggest a more Miami-style criminal enterprise, and Trevor just doesn't fit that world. He's more of a chaotic desert rat than a slick Vice City criminal. Plus, Rockstar tends to make clean breaks between their main games. While they reference past characters and events, they rarely bring main protagonists back in major roles. It helps each game feel fresh and stand on its own. So while I'd love to see what Trevor's been up to since the events of GTA 5, I think it's more likely we'll get maybe a mention, an Easter egg, or at most a small cameo. But Trevor as a main character? I wouldn't bet on it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Next, Michael. Here, the real-world situation is way different. Ned Luke, who plays Michael, has always had a good relationship with Rockstar as far as we know. He's frequently shown appreciation for the role and the fans, and there hasn't been any public beef between him and the company. So from that angle, there's no obvious obstacle to his return. Story-wise, Michael's arc in GTA 5 ended with him surviving, in the canonical ending, and finally finding some peace with his family while maintaining his connection to the movie industry. This actually gives Rockstar a lot to work with. I could totally see a scenario where Michael has become a successful producer and has business in Vice City. Maybe he's financing a film being shot there, or has expanded his entertainment industry connections to the East Coast. The Vice City setting actually presents some interesting possibilities for Michael. Think about it. A former bank robber turned movie producer in a city inspired by Miami? That's giving me some serious Scarface or Miami Vice vibes, which would fit perfectly with Michael's love of classic crime films. He could be living that luxurious lifestyle he always dreamed of. But at the same time, there's the question of whether bringing Michael back would serve the story or just be fan service. GTA 6 looks like it's focusing on new protagonists and their journey, and shoehorning Michael in could feel forced if not done right. Rockstar typically likes to create fresh stories, rather than rely heavily on previous characters. Also worth considering is Michael's age. GTA 6 is set years after GTA 5, so Michael would be even older now. Would he really get pulled back into the criminal lifestyle at this point? It might be more realistic for him to appear in a mentor role or as a side character, rather than getting heavily involved in the main action. So could Michael return? Yeah, I think there's definitely potential there, more so than with Trevor. Would it work? That really depends on how Rockstar would implement it. A cameo or a side mission involving Michael could be awesome without disrupting the main story. Maybe we'll see him at a film festival or premiere in Vice City, living his best life, but still with that edge that made him such a compelling character. Alright guys, let's talk about why Tony Prince, aka Gay Tony, is probably the most likely character from previous games to make an appearance in GTA 6, and honestly, I'm pretty hyped about it. Tony's whole vibe perfectly matches Vice City. This dude is literally called the Nightclub King, and Vice City is all about that glitzy nightlife scene. If you've seen the GTA 6 trailer, you know they're going hard on the neon lights, beach parties, and club atmosphere. That's basically Tony's natural habitat. He would fit into the Vice City setting like he was made for it because, well, he kind of was. Remember how Rockstar already brought Tony back for GTA Online with the After Hours update? That wasn't just a random choice. They've clearly kept this character relevant for a reason, and giving him a whole DLC centered around nightclub management shows they still see value in his character. They've basically kept him warm and in the public eye. Tony's also got history with Vice City that most players don't even realize. In the Ballad of Gay Tony, there's dialogue where he mentions his past in Vice City before he made it big in Liberty City. He talks about how he ran nightclubs down there in the 80s and 90s, so there's already an established backstory they can build on. It wouldn't feel forced at all to have him return to his old stomping grounds. The timeline works perfectly too. Tony would be older now but still young enough to be active in the nightlife scene, maybe as more of a businessman or mentor figure. I could totally see him owning a chain of clubs across Vice City, maybe even being one of those contacts who gives the protagonists missions or introduces them to important people in the criminal world. Plus, Tony's character brings that perfect mix of comedy, drama, and criminal connections that GTA is known for. He's not a straight-up gangster, but he's connected enough to the underworld to be involved in the main story without it feeling weird. So yeah, if I were betting on any character from previous GTA games showing up in GTA 6, my money would definitely be on Tony Prince. The nightclub king returning to where he started, now as a bigger player in the game? That writes itself. Next, Laslow. The biggest reason we probably won't see Laslow return is simply because the real Laslow, Laslow Jones, left Rockstar Games back in 2020 after nearly 20 years with the company. This wasn't just an actor leaving. Laslow was actually a writer and producer for the GTA series, and helped create much of the radio content and satirical media throughout the games. He was deeply involved in the creative side of GTA, not just voicing his character. His departure is a pretty major deal because the Laslow character wasn't just some random NPC, he was basically Laslow Jones playing an exaggerated version of himself. That's why the character worked so well. It had that authentic radio DJ feel because he actually was a radio personality in real life before joining Rockstar. That said, the world of entertainment is full of surprise returns, and GTA 6 is still in development. Could they work out a special arrangement to bring him back for a cameo? Maybe, but I wouldn't count on it being anything substantial even if they did. As for the radio in GTA 6, it's definitely going to evolve. Each GTA game has pushed the radio system forward, and with modern technology, I'm expecting GTA 6 to have the most dynamic and interactive radio experience yet. They'll probably introduce streaming-style services, podcasts, and more personalized content that reflects how we actually consume media today. The humor will likely move beyond the repetitive Laslow jokes we've heard across multiple games. Let's be real, while Laslow's descent from famous radio host to washed-up reality TV producer was funny, that joke has run its course after several games. GTA 6 will need fresh satirical targets reflecting our current media landscape. Influencers, streaming platforms, cancel culture, AI-generated content. There's plenty of new material to work with. So while I think the radio stations in GTA 6 will still have that signature GTA humor and commentary, they'll probably move in a new direction without Laslow at the helm. It's kind of the end of an era, but that's also what keeps the series feeling fresh, rather than just recycling the same characters and jokes forever. Tommy. First and most importantly, we lost Ray Liotta, the legendary actor who voiced Tommy, back in 2022. His passing means that any authentic return of Tommy Vercetti is basically impossible. Recasting such an iconic character would feel wrong, especially since Liotta's performance was such a huge part of what made Tommy memorable in the first place. Then, there's the universe issue. The original Vice City exists in what fans call the 3D universe, or GTA 3 era, while GTA 6 is set in the HD universe, along with GTA 4 and GTA 5. Rockstar has kept these universes completely separate. They might have the same city names and similar vibes, but they're essentially parallel realities. Characters don't cross over between these universes, which is why you never saw CJ, Tommy, or Claude in GTA 5. The timeline is another major factor. The original Vice City was set in 1986, and GTA 6 is set in modern times. Tommy would be an old man by now, probably in his 70s or 80s. His story as the drug kingpin of Vice City works perfectly as a self-contained 80s crime saga. Trying to extend that into the present day would dilute what made it special. What we will definitely get are Easter eggs and references. I'm expecting to see things like businesses named after Tommy, Vercetti estates, maybe streets or landmarks named in his honor, or subtle nods to famous scenes from the original game. There might even be an in-game movie or TV show that parodies Scarface and Tommy's story as a way to pay tribute. These little nods will serve as both a tribute to the character and to Ray Liotta himself, acknowledging the legacy they created without trying to bring Tommy back directly. It's a way for Rockstar to show respect to what came before while still moving forward with their new vision of Vice City. While we won't see Tommy walking around in GTA 6, his spirit will definitely be felt throughout the game in these little tributes. And honestly, that's probably the most respectful way to handle it, given the circumstances. Luis Lopez. Luis was Tony Prince's right-hand man and bodyguard, running security and operations for the nightclubs in Liberty City. Since we just discussed how Tony has a good chance of appearing in GTA 6, it's not completely far-fetched that Luis might tag along. They were a package deal in many ways. That said, Luis isn't nearly as iconic or necessary to the Vice City setting as Tony is. He doesn't have the same established backstory connecting him to Miami, and his character wasn't as memorable to the wider GTA audience. Luis was cool, but he wasn't exactly a fan favorite on the level of Trevor, Michael, or Tommy. Now, he could be the sacrifice of GTA 6 like Johnny was in GTA 5, is actually pretty interesting. If Rockstar wanted to establish a new villain's brutality, or create a shocking moment, killing off Luis could definitely accomplish that. It would be a way to connect to previous games, while showing that the stakes in this new story are serious. Remember how shocking it was when Trevor killed Johnny in GTA 5? Johnny was the protagonist of a whole DLC, and then boom, he's gone in the first hour of GTA 5. It was Rockstar's way of saying, this is a new era, and Trevor is not to be messed with. They could do something similar with Luis, especially if he shows up as part of Tony's entourage. The voice actor, Mario De Leon, is still active and hasn't had any public issues with Rockstar that I know of, so that side of things would be feasible. And Luis exists in the HD universe alongside GTA 4, 5, and now 6, so there's no universe barrier like there is with Tommy. But honestly, I think if Luis does appear, it would be in a minor role at most. Maybe as Tony's bodyguard again, maybe as that shocking death to establish a villain, or maybe just a brief cameo or mention. He just doesn't have the star power or narrative importance to warrant a major role in the new story Rockstar is trying to tell. What do you guys think? Would you want to see Luis come back? Or would you rather see completely new characters dominating the Vice City nightlife scene? And we are done. Let me know in the comments which character you want to see return in GTA 6 and subscribe to the channel. That's it for today's video. See you in the next one.